Hi everyone, this video will be about historical guys who tried to fly, starting off with John Damian, an Italian alchemist and cleric who was at the court of James IV, father of James V, grandfather of me, Queen of Scots, my favourite, and great-great-grandfather of James VI, who became James I upon the Act of the Union. He first appeared in the Scottish Exchequer in January 1501. Some referred to him as a leech, but it wasn't supposed to be offensive, surprisingly. It was an old way of referring to a physician. To be specific, he was called a French leech because he used to work in France as a doctor. Not a very reputable one, but still. He attempted many things, including the production of a fifth element, which nobody has found yet, to be fair. James IV was not the only king wanting to take the credit for an eventual breakthrough in alchemy. His eventual father-in-law did too. John was certainly an entertaining fella. He organised the dances for Hogmanay 1504. For all you non-Scots, Hogmanay is New Year. That occurred in Edinburgh, though it's notable that Stirling shared the title as the capital of Scotland until around a century after this. His human-powered flight attempt took place in 1507? Probably, as historians can't decide on this. They cannot decide on many things. John decided that the most logical course of action was to construct human-sized wings with feathers. Apparently, he even wore a chicken suit during the display. As funny as it sounds, because it is. He was confident that it would work, and this was a genuine experiment. He announced his plans to fly from Stirling Castle to Paris. According to Bishop and historian John Leslie, who was born around 2 decades after this incident, his aim was to arrive at France faster than the Scottish embassy, which was on their way there. The king and his court gathered to watch at the Ladies' Lookout, a battlements area at the back of Stirling Castle, which is very high up and strategically built for battle, by the way. John Damian was ready to make history for all the right reasons. With a flap of his artificial wings, he leapt, then immediately plummeted into a muck heap, breaking his thigh. But somehow, he survived. This was a major anticlimax, or the perfect outcome, depending on your attitude. The aftermath was funny too. John blamed his failure on the feathers of all things. He believed he had chosen the wrong ones. His court rival, William Dunbar, was overjoyed at this spectacular failure. Dunbar wrote a poem to mock Damian, titled "An Ballad of the Finiad Friar of Tongland, How He Fell into the Mire Fleeing To." He was quite right that the attempted flyer was a fraud, but I find this poem to be extremely petty. It must have been awkward around the castle. Between 1501 and 1508, he received a lot of money from James to buy ingredients for his experiments. This is a potential reason for his confidence at the time of the ill-fated flight. He resigned as the Abbot of Tongland in 1509, which was after the flight, keep in mind. James wrote to Pope Julius II asking for John's pension of 200 ducats. He was still recorded at court in 1513, months before the Battle of Flodden, the largest battle ever fought between England and Scotland so far, and the final battle in which a monarch of Great Britain died so far. This, of course, led to the umpteenth political crisis at this time. James had actually lost quite a bit of money due to losing card games against John. I just thought I'd end this on a lighter note. A man who made smarter decisions in his pursuit of flight was Leonardo Da Vinci. He was a man of many passions and was far from just a painter. He designed an aerial screw in the late 1480s. It has been regarded as a sort of early parachute, hang glider and ornithopter. He studied the flight of bats and birds, believing that bats were superior due to their unperforated wings. He also understood that an object offers as much resistance to the air as the air does to the object. He created many designs for flying machines. They were all human-powered at first, but he eventually realised the impracticality of all this. Later designs contained appliances like springs. It is rumoured that Da Vinci tested his own machine around the same time that John Damian tested his invention. But, as I said, it is just a rumour, and there's no solid historical evidence of it, but I mean, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that it happened. Last but certainly not least, and born hundreds of years later, is Franz Reichelt. He was born in Austria-Hungary, in an area that is now in the Czech Republic. He moved to France when he was 19 or 20. He was a successful tailor, though he is better remembered for being an unsuccessful inventor. In 1907, he moved into a flat and opened a dressmaking business there, often catering to Australians holidaying in Paris. In 1909, he gained both French nationality and the name Francois. His most unusual dress would be the object of his undoing. A wearable parachute. One might say that he was obsessed with it. He experimented with dropping dummies from the 5th floor of his apartment building. Dummies, not himself. Early experiments were actually successful, but later ones were not. He petitioned multiple times for permission to test on the damn Eiffel Tower. Permission was granted in 1912. The fateful day was Sunday, the 4th of February. Franz, now for Francois, arrived bright and early at 7 a.m. Wearing his parachute, he was granted permission to test dummies. Nobody granted him permission to test himself, but he was hell-bent on launching himself off the Eiffel Tower. He really was certain that it would succeed, against all odds. Many tried to talk him out of it, but to no avail. A newspaper described his parachute as only a little more voluminous than average clothing. He had previously told journalists that he expected his apparatus to not only work, but work well. There is an infamous video of what followed at 8:22 a.m. He hesitates for around 40 seconds before leaping, and he plummets. He fell 57 metres / 187 feet. Shocked onlookers rushed towards him. The following day, newspapers were filled with this story. It was described as a tragic experiment, but as you can imagine, many people found the incident humorous, as they could not believe that he actually did that to himself. Unsurprisingly, the authorities became very cautious of granting permission to test parachutes on the Eiffel Tower again. Thank you very much for watching my video. This is the first on my channel. I aim to upload monthly, but I will post extra videos out with that time frame. From here on out, do what you feel like. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Just do what you want. Once again, thank you. If you stuck around this long, I am actually really happy about that.